Hey everyone, happy Friday. It's that time of day where we take a moment and pause and say thanks to everyone who's making the world run. Let's start with the men and women in the military, police officers, firefighters, doctors, nurses, lab technicians, hospital orderlies, small business owners, restaurateurs, truck drivers, everyone working at the grocery stores and fast food joints, the Port of Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Oakland, and Union Station, the pilots and flight attendants. Let's listen to the national anthem.
Giving you the day's headlines with the right context. It's the John Phillips Show.
And a very happy Friday to you at 12:06 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, we are broadcasting live on the radio on 790 KABC in Southern California and 810 KSFO in the Bay Area. But we are also streaming live on video at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. We're streaming on X at Johnny Don't Like. We are streaming on Facebook at KABC Radio. And we're streaming on Facebook at 810 KSFO. And we're also streaming on Twitch at Randy Wang Radio. But the best one, we believe, is the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Randy Wang Radio. And if you're watching this live, it is very important you hit that like button, you subscribe to the channel. It helps YouTube send us into the algorithm wild, wild west and get more people paying attention to what we're doing on this show every single day from noon to 3.
Now, today, we're on up against the World Cup, which I know there is big World Cup excitement, not just in the state of California, but
wait, there's
all
a
over.
D in that word?
I mispronounced it. Let me correct myself. I know that there is great excitement all over the globe for the World Cup. But despite the fact that we're on up against a game that I know a lot of people are going to be watching, Randy, you have a challenge for the audience today.
So we really want to get people to subscribe to our brand new podcast, the Accountability Podcast with John Phillips and Randy Wang. In fact, I'm going to put a link to that channel in the chat right now because that's something that someone suggested I do yesterday, and that's really easy. The feed for that is youtube.com/@Accountability Podcast. It is our brand new show. We do an hour every week of stuff that we didn't get to on the radio show, and it can also be a little blue and uncensored at times. We currently have 276 subscribers to the Accountability Podcast. If we can get that up to 500 by 2:30, 2.5 hours, if we can get up to 500 subscribers on the Accountability Podcast, I have produced a video representation, a very special slideshow, if you will, generated mostly by AI, of the Katie Porter story that we heard from Mike in Valencia 2 years ago.
Oh, my.
Hello, everybody.
It took me an hour to put together, so you don't get it for free. You will get the Katie Porter video premiered live on this show, and then we'll have the link so you can share it with all of your friends. But if you want to see that video, we're going to need you to subscribe to the Accountability Podcast. The link is in the chat. You can also go to youtube.com/@accountabilitypodcast.
Accountability.
Now, you can also subscribe on Apple Podcasts and iHeart if you want to just hear it, but it's another one of these things. Watching it is so much better. So subscribe to that YouTube channel, and if we can get up to 500 by 2:30, you're going to see what I spent all night on last night.
Little D.
Does it include the money shot?
No, it is very tasteful. I wanted to make sure that everything that was on the screen, you know what's going on, but there's nothing explicit. I'm not creating pornography with AI.
Did you notice that the Katie Porter Yelp reviews went everywhere yesterday?
Oh, yeah. And we want to thank our listeners that sent this to us early in the morning, and then we kind of had a lot of fun with it. I do have a standalone video in case you missed that yesterday on The John Phillips Show. If you go to our YouTube channel at Randy Wang Radio, there is a video, and the graphic is ridiculous for it, but you can watch that. You can share that with your friends. We had a lot of fun. That segment is definitely going to go into whenever we have a best of the video show.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. On to the top story of the day, and for that we go to Boyle Heights, where the headline, Randy, is, you can smell it right here.
You can smell it right here.
That's usually what I make the caption headline for these stories, but today it's got a very special flair, because Bass got booed in Boyle Heights is fantastic alliteration.
And she was pissed off about it, too.
She was. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is why we want so many people to subscribe to the Accountability Podcast. I am about halfway through listening to this town hall, which the entire thing was posted online. I have the video up on my Substack at randywangradio.substack.com. And my full intent was, we should play this on the air. We get a whole hour out of this. The problem is, there are so many people screaming at Karen Bass and Isabel Jurado and Hilda Solis, and at one point, even Barbara Ferrer starts getting screamed at.
Wash your hands often and always before eating and after toileting.
The problem is, for our friends listening to us on the AM radio, is that there is so much cursing, screaming out F-bombs throughout the entire thing, that the only way we're going to be able to give that segment justice is by doing it for next week's Accountability Podcast. So we're going to cover in depth on next week's Accountability Podcast all of the sound, all of the video of Bass getting shouted at and cussed at, Isabel getting shouted at and cussed at, Hilda getting shouted at and cussed at, and the one that I did not expect, Babs getting yelled at.
No, thank you.
What was great, too, was that they were being cursed out in both English and Spanish. And for those of you bilingual speakers out there, it sounded like Ricky Ricardo was just off stage.
Augie writes in on YouTube, Bass was absent again when LA had a disaster. That's right. Karen Bass was at the big Obama Library dedication when this fire broke out. And let's just say the locals let her have it. Now, for a little taste that is safe for air of what that town hall last night looked like, we've got a fantastic report from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Anger and outrage.
And by the way, they're yelling so loud you could hear them through their gas masks.
At a tense town hall meeting in Boyle Heights tonight, neighbors complaining about the putrid smell of rotting food.
When you need Mark Brown, you get Mark Brown.
Thank God he didn't call in sick that day.
And demanding a timeline for the cleanup following this massive warehouse fire 3 weeks ago. Those residents calling their neighborhood a disaster area that isn't getting the help it needs.
Don't worry, we've got air purifiers for you.
Oh, yeah. They'll use all the ingenuity they used with the fires to get this one taken care of.
And
they'll be right on it a year and a half from now.
One of the things that the residents were super pissed about, and it's something that Karen Bass actually apologized for, although no one was going to hear it, was Karen Bass saying, "Don't worry, the smoke is safe." The air quality is okay. No amount of smoke is safe.
Eyewitness News reporter Madison Wild talking to some of the people tonight about their growing frustration. She's live in Boyle Heights. Madison.
I'm going to guess she's upwind.
I would hope so. She's not wearing a mask.
Mark, well, it was impossible not to feel the anger and frustration from the crowd here tonight. The community that continues to be impacted by this crisis, and we feel for them. We've been in that neighborhood. It is an unbearable stench, but I'm not sure how productive this meeting was.
All of the descriptions of the smell just get better and better.
Sarah writes in on YouTube, will the residents start voting differently, or will they just want more socialism? Well, how many of the residents are actually eligible to vote?
Good point.
Nope, that's not it.
Here tonight, because most of the speakers weren't able to offer information without interruption. This is how Thursday's town hall meeting in Boyle Heights began.
They stormed that stage.
They did.
Frustrated community members
Screaming, shut it down. Shut it down.
storming the auditorium. Mayor Karen Bass booed when she took the stage.
You see Babs in the front there in the white lab coat?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They need a doctor in the house.
There is, as disastrous as this is and how awful I feel for the residents, there is something very nice about hearing Karen Bass getting exactly what she deserves.
Well, especially when she's giving them awful advice like the smoke is not dangerous. What do you say if you're Karen Bass after you get booed from saying that? Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Follow the science. We have a fake doctor here who told us that we're right about this.
Say, if you want to listen, clap once.
Oh, come on.
She started going in full-on kindergarten teacher.
If you're feeling down, if you're feeling blue, let's get help for you.
But most of the people there did not want to listen because most of the people don't believe a word these people say. They needed to vent their frustrations, and frustrations were vented.
Well, I love the fact that this crowd is angry because they feel like they've been disrespected, and then the mayor shows up and acts like they're sitting there eating paste.
In addition to updates from the mayor, the town hall was supposed to include presentations from other elected leaders.
Oh, Isabel got booed big time.
Good.
She tried to do the I feel your pain and nobody was buying it. We had someone who works in our office that lives right across the street, so we get it. Boo!
Agencies.
There she is.
Right there. That is the look of health.
Now, this is something that we've never been able to do before because all through COVID, this was just a radio show. But in case you've never seen LA County Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer.
I have no idea.
There she is, the healthiest looking woman you've ever seen.
In all her glory. Talk about someone who's breathed in a lot of toxic fumes.
And she got heavily booed because she said, don't worry, we passed out masks.
What about Narcan and condoms? She have any of those on her?
That's usually her move.
Wash your hands often and always before eating and after toileting.
Listener Casey writes in, she looks so unhealthy.
She looks like she already died.
Oh, we're having fun in the chat here at the beginning of the show today. Oh boy.
Well, I think we're actually shocking the audience because many of them have never seen her before.
We had to see this face in press conferences every single day, talking about health, usually while coughing and sneezing and sniffing constantly.
You think she's been inside the building?
I don't think so.
After
And
they
of
put up
course-
the tarp so that way it'll help keep the evil fresh?
Lineage, the company that operates the facility, now filled with 85
The guy at
million
Lineage was like, "We feel bad too. Our building burned down." Boo!
pounds of once frozen food now rotting in the scorching summer heat.
Okay, so what is the freezer, the Lineage freezer? What was in it? So everyone understands what was going on in
They're just chanting, "Liar, liar."
that freezer.
The crowd cutting every speaker off and cutting right to the chase. The presentations ultimately cut short.
Yeah, they about 30 minutes into the slideshows, which Barbara Ferrer did not get a chance to do her presentation, which you know she loves to present.
Next slide.
They like, screw it, we're just going to go to Q&A. And that's what I'm listening to as I was driving in right now. And it's just Q, there's no A. Because the first question is, are you going to kick Lineage out of Boyle Heights? And no one had an answer.
Tough crowd. And it looks like there's a 2 tattoo minimum.
Moving on to the Q&A portion.
Will the city commit to shut down Lineage after the cleanup? Shut it down.
They had no answer for that.
Of course not.
That question remains unanswered, but Lineage did issue an apology, assuring
That'll do it.
Well, it's not golf. You don't get a mulligan.
Well, and what's funny, too, is you have all of these apologies coming from the refrigerator company, but the fire started from the solar panel company.
It's not their fault. If you're going to live in a society where you have things like grocery stores, you're going to need refrigeration. That wasn't the problem. The problem was the idiot putting the solar panels on the roof and turning them on when they weren't supposed to and starting the fire.
Maybe the outrage is that people didn't know they had this kind of danger in their neighborhood, and they would like these massive warehouses to be where they're supposed to be in Hemet.
the community they're working to meet a 45-day deadline set by the city to fix the disaster.
Which they're not even close.
No.
There's 85 million pounds of food, and they're pulling out 1 million a day.
And this is the city of Los Angeles. Again, look to the fires. It's a year and a half later, and less than 1% of the homes have been rebuilt. These people better get used to the smell because it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay, I don't want to read this one on the air, but look at the comment on the screen from Augie.
Oh, yeah. Well, that requires refrigeration, too.
The chat is getting lively.
I understand the uncertainty, the frustration, and the disruption that it's caused. And I am sorry. I am sorry for the disruption.
You can stuff your sorries in a sack, mister.
Well, they're about to stuff him in a sack, too.
That this has caused. I'm here tonight because I know there's information you want answered, and so I'm working on answering those questions directly.
As far as progress, Lineage says 1.4 million pounds of waste have been removed so far.
They're not beating that 45-day timeline. That's not happening.
No, not even close.
In addition to $2.5 million in disaster relief, the company will also be providing housing vouchers, air purifiers, masks, grocery vouchers, cash assistance, and utility support. The mayor's office adding they're expanding mobile health clinics in the area to help anyone feeling sick.
Oh, when Babs started talking about the health clinics, that's when she got screamed at.
She's not used to that, too.
No.
But the end of the night, still a disconnect between the crowd and the panel.
I am very disgusted with how this response has played out in real time.
As long as we continue to shout and scream, we're not going to get anything done correctly.
Yeah,
Who's that idiot?
It feels real good.
You know, when a situation like this happens, you have to let them know that you're angry. And if they don't understand you, that means you're not yelling loud enough.
Please, please, we have to work together.
The number one thing that we keep hearing from people here is that they want to relocate because of that awful smell. So we heard about those housing vouchers. We also heard that Airbnb will be stepping in to provide emergency assistance. We're told that those in need should start by calling 211.
And they'll be put on hold.
Yeah. They're never getting into an Airbnb, by the way.
So that is the latest on the disastrous town hall. We will cover it fully in depth next week, uncensored on the Accountability Podcast, because I cannot play you the raw sound on the radio. It is full of F-bombs.
If you're expecting to get an Airbnb out of these people, that Airbnb will be owned by Gavin Newsom's wife. Unless it is, guess what? No break from the stench for you. It's the John Phillips Show.
I have been talking about Clark Fielding and the jaws of justice at Fielding Law for 8 years on KABC. I believe in Clark. Clark believes in us. That's a long time to be sponsoring a radio show, and we appreciate it. It's because this guy leads with integrity. He takes care of his clients, and he tries to do the best by them. So if you're hurt in any kind of accident, whether it's a car accident, a dog bite, a slip, trip, or fall, the number you need to call, oh no, I'm rhyming, is 833-88-SHARK, 833-887-4275, 833-88-SHARK, and go to the website, clarkthesharklaw.com. That's where you could download the accident preparation guide. This is just a little checklist. It's free. You print it out, and it tells you the steps that you need to take at the scene of the accident that you might forget because you're dazed and confused because someone just rear-ended you. Get it today at clarkthesharklaw.com.
Hurt in an accident? Bite back. Call Clark. 833-88-SHARK. clarkthesharklaw.com.
It's the John Phillips Show.
Boy, yesterday having all the comments about Katie and today having all the comments about Barbara Ferrer, this is a heck of a lot of fun.
Christmas has come early for you, young man. The John Phillips Show continues in moments. Don't you go anywhere. It's time to talk about CarPro.com. Listener Robert contacted Tustin Hyundai because they're an authorized CarPro dealership, and he wanted the transparency and structure that CarPro is known for providing. After reaching out, the general manager stepped in personally and applied the CarPro discount along with a $4,000 manufacturer lease incentive and handled everything clearly through the email. When Robert arrived, the sales manager was completely prepared with all the details, no re-explaining needed. Rick introduced him to Marcos at the dealership, who made the test drive and delivery process smooth and professional. Robert says it was exactly what CarPro promises: no games, transparent pricing, and respect for his time. He highly recommends Tustin Hyundai and CarPro.com. If you want this kind of VIP treatment and amazing pricing, go to CarPro.com, enter your zip code, what you're looking for. Or you can call or text Tom Haynes directly at 818-435-6797. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so. JohnnyDon'tLikeShow@gmail.com. That's JohnnyDon'tLikeShow@gmail.com. And Randy, you can watch us perform the show live and participate in the program as well.
We are broadcasting live on video everywhere, including X at Johnny Don't Like, including Facebook at KABC Radio and Facebook at 810 KSFO. In fact, we just got a comment from John on Facebook. Was John an extra in The Few Good Men? Oh, that haircut.
People are acting as if I cut it myself with a weed whacker.
I think it looks fine. But we really encourage you to get in on the YouTube channel because that's where the most active chat room is by going to youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. Hit subscribe. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button. It is a big deal. We appreciate it. And it gets YouTube to push this show out to even more people as we grow this audience and slowly but surely take over the internet.
You know what? The people in chat can keep making fun of my haircut all they want. You know what? The lesbians love it.
Well, look at this. Judy writes in, his haircut looks good to me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Finally, someone in that chat with taste.
You know, I have my own little challenge going on right now. I'm trying to see how many days I can go without shaving before you notice it on the camera.
Okay, you issued a challenge earlier in the program that the audience met yesterday, but you issued a different one today.
So we want to thank everybody for playing along with us yesterday. The challenge yesterday was to get 500 likes on today's YouTube broadcast, on yesterday's YouTube broadcast, and you guys smashed it. We really appreciate that, and it's a big deal. And the reward was we did an entire segment reading Katie Porter's Yelp reviews that apparently was ripped off by other national radio shows that shall remain nameless. But love to hear it. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. But one of the requests that we were getting from a lot of the listeners was, okay, Katie Porter Yelp reviews is one thing, but we really want to hear that call from a listener 2 years ago detailing one of his friends' encounters with Katie Porter. And I thought, well, yeah, I could just play the sound, but that's not really, advanced. What if I could actually do something crazy and put pictures to the video? And that's exactly what I did. I created a little slideshow retelling of that story, and we are going to play it for you at 2:30 if, and that's a big if, we can get our Accountability Podcast subscribers up to 500 by 2:30. Currently, we're at 328. I am putting in the feed right here. There it is. Let's get to 500 subscribers, and you will not only get to hear the call, you'll get to see the call. That is our stretch goal for today. Thank you all so much for helping us out. Hey, let's chat.
What?
The dog groomer threw in a free haircut for John.
I don't really see the point in having a live chat through the show.
I do.
I don't see the value personally.
I think we're all having a real good Friday.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, we know that on the 4th of July, a bunch of teenagers took over the sand over Newport Beach. Not only did they take over the beach, but they took over one of the grocery store parking lots, and they wreaked a lot of havoc through that town. The people of Newport Beach, who wanted to celebrate their holiday in peace, were denied that opportunity. We subsequently learned that many of the people who showed up did so because of TikTok. There were videos on TikTok that were posted that urged them to show up to Newport Beach all at once. Many of them don't even live in Orange County, and some of them didn't even live in the state of California. Many of them came out from Arizona and other states. Well, now there's worry that the same thing could happen just north of Newport Beach in Huntington Beach.
And Huntington Beach is saying, hell to the no. You dumb kids and your TikToks are not taking over our beaches. And they're going to crack this thing down before it even starts. For more on Huntington Beach, preparing to crack down on a potential takeover this weekend. Here is KTLA 5.
A 4th of July celebration turns into chaos in Newport Beach, and now police in Huntington Beach say they won't.
By the way, all the shots of the police on horseback, if any of those teens shot fireworks at the horses, there's a special place in hell for you.
Well, hopefully they got kicked right in the teeth by Mr. Ed himself.
Won't let it happen again in their city.
They're running off the teenagers like they're lost sheep. They're actually herding cattle.
Officials are aware of an unsanctioned beach bash being promoted on social media.
They are now doing everything they can to prevent any violence. KTLA's Lindsay Pena is live in Huntington Beach with details.
Yeah, Sharon, John, it's not exactly clear when this takeover could happen, but police say they are prepared and they're warning people don't even think about it.
What is I know what the drive is. It's money and it's fame, but that is what's pushing dumb teenagers from Arizona to film themselves kicking the crap out of each other.
And here's the lesson for all of you parents out there. And I think that we can all look at this as a teachable moment. I know that in the 80s and in the 90s, parents were urged to move away from corporal punishment. They talked you into doing things like timeout or taking devices away from the kids to punish them for doing bad things. I think at this point we have realized that has failed. And if your kid does something like this, you need to beat them. Take it from the people in the 1950s. They did it right. And they even smoked and drank the whole time they were pregnant. When their kids got out of line, you think Ozzie and Harriet hesitated one moment before they gave their kids a backhand? How about June Cleaver? They didn't play around. And those kids behaved. Those kids did what they were supposed to do. And now you have all of these parents who look like badasses. You have these parents who, want to be friends with the kids and they have a bunch of tattoos and all of that. Well, in the 1950s, they may not have had any tattoos, but man, they ran a tight ship. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Wheezy naked, so maybe not all of the 1950s TV moms didn't have tattoos, but you get the point.
Listener John writes in on YouTube, the horse scene reminds me of the first Planet of the Apes. Yes!
This was the scene in Newport Beach several days ago on the 4th of July. An alleged TikTok takeover erupting into pure chaos. Fires, looting, and officers being targeted with explosives.
Kids that know that nothing bad's going to happen to them.
I hope one of them gets run over by a horse.
More than 400 people were arrested. Law enforcement later saying many of those involved were from Arizona and Nevada. Dozens of people were injured in the mayhem.
Those damn Tucson teens.
I guess there's nothing going on in Tucson, so why not go to the beach?
Including Cassandra Torres, a longtime resident of the OC.
It's horrible. It's really disgusting behavior. And now we're paying for it.
She says she was riding her e-bike when suddenly a crowd of young people was coming towards her.
And then the next thing I know,
they're like, hey, that's our thing. You don't do our thing. You're too old for that.
And you could tell the thought bubble in her head. This isn't good.
I'm waking up with strangers around me, which grateful for them. And all I hear is she got pushed off her bike.
Torres was rushed to the hospital.
Holy cow!
They knocked her off her bike?
What is with these little bastards?
Rude.
Hey, look, not all the mean comments are focused at you. Ed writes in, Randy looks like a garden gnome. Sure.
And treated for a long list of injuries, including serious cuts, bruising, and a concussion. Getting caught up in violence like that in Newport, a town she's celebrated the 4th in for years, is still hard to believe.
I've never seen.
You know how much you have to pay that you're not supposed to deal with that kind of riffraff to be in Newport?
That's part of the reason they're so pissed.
Seen a hospital that busy in my life. And then
How far south do you have to go to be safe from the jackass teens? Dana Point?
Well, if you hit Ensenada, you've gone too far.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a safe, fun day, and it turned into a nightmare.
As Torres and others recover from the takeover, news emerging of a similar event planned in nearby Huntington Beach. Police posting on social media Thursday, "Dear Beach Bash organizers, thanks for the flyer. We've seen it too. We have no intention of allowing that to happen here." In a statement, the Huntington Beach Police Department telling KTLA, "Our comprehensive public safety plan includes increased staffing, proactive enforcement, and the deployment of specialized resources throughout the city. We're coordinating closely with our regional law enforcement partners and are prepared to respond quickly to any criminal activity."
You got to shut these things down before they even start, because once they get out of control, you're outmanned and sometimes you're outgunned.
And they do not fool around in Huntington Beach. If those kids show up to Huntington Beach and they think they're going to take over the beaches and they're going to trash the grocery stores, they have another thing coming.
Another post promoting a takeover at Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh, don't do that again. We're going to have the curfew. Why do the teens want to destroy all the fun things about Southern California? They did this a couple of years ago. The dumb kids started going to Knott's Berry Farm en masse because it's super cheap to go to Knott's compared to Disneyland. And then they would start beating up each other in the line and filming it for TikTok. And so then what happens? You have Knott's Berry Farm announce, okay, nobody is allowed to go into the park unless they have a chaperone over 21, to which then the jackass teens were trying to rent 21-year-olds on Reddit to be their chaperone.
Well, if they're trying to rent 21-year-olds, I guess that's what separates them from the Lincoln Project guys.
Buena Park Police saying they're aware and will have an increased presence this weekend. Law enforcement also...
You know what I say? If you catch anyone trying to destroy Buena Park and Knott's Berry Farm, you dump them right in the middle of the jousting ring at medieval times.
Don't they know that this kind of behavior is not welcome there? It's welcome at Magic Mountain.
Oh, I know. I used to work at Magic Mountain, and I used to work at Suzette's Bakery, the funnel cake place, which is right at the entrance/exit of the park. And I had to sometimes be the guy or tell people to be the guy to stop the line because it's too late. We've sold too many funnel cakes. And that's when all the fights would break out because people wanted their damn sugary treat after a whole day of theme parking.
Magic Mountain is the one place on planet Earth where there are more people in Raiders gear than in a Raiders game.
Accurate.
Saying that anyone who organizes, promotes, encourages, or participates in criminal acts associated with a takeover may face arrest and prosecution. Torres says just the thought of this chaos happening again,
that scares me.
Now, Huntington Beach police tell us that they've already identified several individuals involved in the planning and promotion of this takeover. But if you have any more information about the event, you're urged to call Huntington Beach Police. Reporting live in Huntington, Lindsay Pena, KTLA 5 News.
So there you go. Huntington Beach Police vows to crack down on this nonsense before it even starts. We'll see what happens over the weekend. But these jackass TikTok and teens are not going to stop because they think this is what gets them money and this is what gets them famous. Buddy writes in, Magic Mountain should have been named Ghetto Mountain.
You know, in Huntington, I mentioned before, they don't play down there. I don't even think you need the Huntington Beach Police Departments to kick these little bastards out. All I think you need is whoever's at the bar right now at Zuby's. And believe me, at 12:48 on a Friday, that bar is full.
Dar writes in on YouTube, don't mess with HB. If the HPPD doesn't get them, the natives will.
It's the John Phillips Show. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Randy, how are we doing on the subscriber count for the Accountability Podcast?
Our challenge to you, our loyal audience today, is to get our subscribers for the Accountability Podcast up to 500. We started at 275. We are now at 353. Subscribe by going to youtube.com/@accountabilitypodcast. I also just put a link in the chat. If we can get it to 500 by 2:30, we will play you the video version of the Katie Porter story from listener Mike in Valencia.
Oh, my.
And don't worry, it's not explicit, but I'm pretty proud of it.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. The beaches in the state of California are a complete mess this weekend, and you're being urged not to go in the water.
Specifically in Los Angeles County.
You can smell it right here.
For more on the beach bacteria warnings, here's a report from Fox 11 and our buddy Matthew Seedorf. Oh, there we go.
A visit to the beach might come with a warning. Public health officials say bacteria levels are causing a health alert at some popular LA beaches. Could your favorite spot be on the list? We go live to Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf in Santa Monica. Matthew.
Boy, if it's not the bad smells in Boyle Heights, they send Seedorf to the bad smells in Santa Monica.
I think they just have a wheel over at the Fox Studios where they spin the wheel each day, and they just decide that way which environmental disaster to send him to.
Christine, big crowds out here trying to beat the heat today. Not everyone getting those warnings. As millions pack LA County beaches to escape the heat.
That's fun.
It looks like 3 Mile Island.
Don't go in the water. You will get sick.
Are up along some of the coast, warning of high bacteria levels associated with fecal contamination.
Oh, you know what that means.
That's the homeless.
Yep. It's not the coyotes. It's the homeless. And whenever they do what they do on the streets, it all gets washed out to the ocean at some point. And that's when Barbara Ferrer says, you cannot go swimming.
Yeah.
Stop giving your leftovers from Chipotle to the homeless.
Smelled something walking up, but when you're in California, I was just ignoring it.
This family from Buffalo visiting the Santa Monica Pier, now avoiding the water. Swimming wasn't in the plan.
They're not even screaming because it's cold. They're screaming because they're going to get sick.
Yeah. I mean, who wants to go back to Buffalo with a third arm?
And for today, there are signs out here.
You know, it's not that far to go from LAX to the South Bay beaches that are much cleaner. You can even get down to Orange County. Go to Seal Beach.
Yeah, take all your friends from Arizona.
Here, warning of high bacteria levels, but a lot of people aren't seeing them.
What does that mean exactly? Like,
It means stay out of the water.
It means you might be on the
Oh, good. She's a mom.
toilet for a while.
yeah, it's time to go. And
It's a little cold when you first get in, but it's nice.
Blake Severson.
Wait, that idiot is swimming in that water anyway?
We can put up all the signs we want. Tourist gonna tourist.
Swimming. That's foul. Until we showed him the warning.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not getting back in.
Okay. Maybe the first thing that we've realized is people do not read signs. So LA County should just really hire Matthew Seedorf to tell people that there's bacteria in the water.
What are they supposed to do? Draw stick figures?
That's disgusting.
That's great.
Over 650,000 gastrointestinal diseases attributed to swimming in this water right here annually.
Didn't you stop swimming in the ocean specifically for that reason?
Yes, I was constantly sick, and the illnesses were gross because you'd get eye infections, you'd get ear infections. It was nasty.
Ashley Olsen with the California
Not that Ashley Olsen.
Coastal Alliance regularly tests ocean water.
You can smell it right now.
She sounds like Katie.
Right here.
Katie Porter.
Oh, that is just, of all the reports that are on the list today, that's probably my favorite. Check it out for yourself. I have all of our stories at randywangradio.substack.com.
It's the John Phillips Show.
Something's not right here.
Crime is up all over the state.
The homelessness in the city is out of control.
The economy is sick. Taxes are high.
Housing is expensive and businesses are leaving. California needs fixing. And John Phillips is just the man to lead the charge. It's the Fix California Hour with John Phillips and Randy Wang.
And we continue at 1:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, we are broadcasting live on the radio on 790 KABC and 810 KSFO, but we are now in week 2 of broadcasting live on video at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. Make sure you watch us live. Play around in the chat room. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe. You can also check us out at Facebook at KABC Radio, Facebook at 810 KSFO, X at Johnny Don't Like, and Twitch at Randy Wang Radio. And we're getting all kinds of requests in the chat. Brostels writes in, can you give me a combo platter of Katie Porter?
You can smell it right here.
And that lady in Santa Monica? Why, yes, I can. There it is.
You can smell it right now.
Okay, let's hear them back to back one more time.
You can smell it right here.
You can smell it right now.
And didn't Tom Steyer get in on the action too?
Yes, he did, but I don't have that on the wall here, so it's kind of harder to play. The only Tom Steyer drop I have available right now is...
I'm Tom Steyer, and I'm about to ride the D.
Well, we know what he's doing this weekend.
But play around in the chat room. We're having a lot of fun on this Friday.
Okay, how are we doing with subscriptions to the Accountability Podcast?
Oh, very good question. So the website that we need you to subscribe to is the YouTube channel for our podcast, the Accountability Podcast. You go to youtube.com/@accountabilitypodcast. I just put the link in the chat. If we can get up to 500 by 2:30, I have a very special Katie Porter video for you. And we are at 381. 381 out of 500. We are very close. So get us over that threshold. If you have not subscribed yet to the Accountability Podcast on YouTube, we put out a new episode every single week. On Wednesday, we're going to have a brand new episode covering the Boyle Heights Town Hall with all the uncensored cussing out of Karen Bass. So subscribe, youtube.com/@accountabilitypodcast. And if you have any trouble finding it, just email us at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Monica writes in, let's all ride the D.
That D would get a workout. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. The city of Oakland, which is known for, let's just say, public safety challenges.
You mean like...
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
Or...
Who else are we going to call Superman?
Or...
Oh, my God. They melted the basketball court.
That would be what I'm referring to. Well, they now have a new police chief, and his job is to make Oakland safe.
And they decided for the first time in a long time to just promote from within. The guy who has been interim police chief ever since Shang Tao's handpicked police chief Floyd Mitchell from Lubbock ditched Oakland for Fremont.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They've had James Beer in charge, and James Beer has been quite a steady hand. And what it sure seems like here was Barbara Lee, who is running for re-election in November, was well aware that it's not going to look very good if she goes into re-election with still no police chief because they're waiting on the police commission to come out with candidates. So they've decided to give James Beer the full job, and at least right now it looks like he has a lot of support from the community because unlike Floyd Mitchell, he's from Oakland and isn't planning on leaving Oakland anytime soon.
But becoming police chief of Oakland is like marrying Elizabeth Taylor. You know it's not going to work out, but I guess have fun while you're there.
You know, absolutely.
To that point, there have been over a dozen police chiefs in Oakland in like the last 15 years. Let's see what's going on with our new police chief, James Beer, in the city of Dumpy. Wait, that's the wrong story.
You know what? I am so convinced that this isn't going to last. I'm not even going to learn his name.
Wait, hold on a second. Did they retitle this wrong? Because hold on.
Striking fact.
No, that's the factory workers story. Okay, hold on. I have to do a little fixie here. I put the wrong thing on my Substack. I never do this. Now I got to do this the old-fashioned way. I got to go to KPIX on YouTube. Make sure, by the way, all these channels that we promote, we appreciate if you would subscribe to them as well, because they do great work out there, and that's why we're always supporting our local news. There it is, the interim police chief story. And now we're going to switch to this tab, and then we're going to go full screen, and then I'm going to see how it looks like. There we go. Now we have the right story. We'll do the labor dumping all the sugar at the Oakland Harbor later. Here we go.
Come in on this Thursday evening. Today, Oakland's mayor announced the interim police chief has earned her trust and the permanent position.
Yeah, it's a big day. Mayor Barbara Lee joined James Beer earlier today to reveal her decision. It comes as the city of Oakland has seen a major drop in crime that started.
Noel Gallo always has to have some kind of costume.
Yeah, he does. He must make like 5 costume changes per day.
In 2024 and continued last year. Our Maddie White explains how the city is hoping Beer can build on that momentum.
Every time I hear his name, I think it's Beer, but it's not.
In the city of Oakland, there have been 11 different police chiefs in the last 15 years.
And Johnny, what happened to the 2 police chiefs ago, LaRon Armstrong?
Oh, yeah. Sheg decided that she was going to fire him because she's a girl boss and she can.
Like, don't waste our time. We have a whole city to run.
But there's hope that this new chapter could bring more stability that many people say the department has been missing. Scandals, politics, and the pressures of the job of top cop have fueled years of leadership turnover in the Oakland Police Department. But
Floyd Mitchell, who Sheng Tao took a year and a half to get into that job after the police commission said, how about you just give LaRon Armstrong his job back? And she said, nah. He lasted 18 months.
Imagine if Barbara Lee decided to throw a curveball to the city and she said, all right, I'm going to announce who the next police chief is. Someone who knows Oakland well, has spent a lot of time with the community, certainly knows law enforcement inside and out. Sheng Tao.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think you can serve as police chief if you are currently under indictment. That trial's coming in October. Can't wait. Seriously, we need to go do a live remote up there for that.
Yeah, where's Nancy Grace when you need her?
Now, Mayor Barbara Lee has made it official, appointing interim chief James Beer to lead the department permanently.
This is where I raised my kids.
Beer has spent nearly 3 decades rising through Oakland PD's ranks.
Not a lot of people agree on many things in Oakland, but we all agree on beer. And
it's pretty good.
And I'm thankful to the police commission for doing their job and sending a qualified set of candidates to the mayor.
Well, they picked the interim guy, not any of the candidates they sent, because usually they don't send good candidates.
Chief searches, the city has publicly named the candidates they were interviewing for the position. But this time they did something a little different. They held community meetings and say they used feedback from those meetings to inform their decisions. City leaders say that strengthened their candidate pool and helped them land on the kind of chief residents want.
Someone who sees the position not only as simply a job.
Why is she running for re-election? She's in her 80s.
I don't know. Maybe she doesn't like watching reruns of Judge Judy.
But as a commitment to
power must be one hell of a drug because nobody wants to let it go. I'm looking at you, Mitch McConnell, if he's still alive.
Our city. And so I am pleased and I'm confident that interim chief James Beer demonstrated that commitment.
Beer says that commitment is personal. He lives in Oakland, raised his family here, and before joining OPD in 1997, served in the U.S. Marine Corps. During a tour in Iraq, he was injured and received a Purple Heart. Now one of his biggest challenges...
Well, experience in a war zone will serve him well in Oakland.
I had a feeling that was coming.
...will be leading the department as it pushes to finally exit more than 2 decades.
That'll do it. There's a sign in front of a church that says "No más violencia," with a graphic of a gun that says "No gun," like no smoking,
with a Ghostbusters X through it.
Of federal court oversight.
I can tell you that the negotiated settlement agreement is actually the industry standard for best policing practices. If we are taken out of court oversight in September.
And let's not forget, the reason that the oversight is so important was it was LeBron Armstrong who was blowing the whistle on how the federal monitor was dragging his legs on ending the oversight because he gets a 7-figure salary to keep them in the oversight. And that's when Sheng Tao decided to fire his ass.
The negotiated settlement agreement's not going away. That's stitched into the fabric of this police department.
Bishop Bob Jackson, senior pastor of Acts Full Gospel Church of God in Christ in Oakland, says Beer's long history inside the department could help break the cycle of change.
So I'm glad we've learned some lessons to hire in-house, because I think James Beard's the best man for it. He's been there a number of years, grew up in it.
You know what's one of the funnier aspects of Sheng Tao picking Floyd Mitchell out of Lubbock, Texas, who, by the way, he had his own disastrous 911 situation down there. And this is true. When Floyd Mitchell was hired to be Oakland's police chief, he had to go through training first because he wasn't qualified to be a California police officer.
Well, how about when Javier Baccaria was appointed by Jerry Brown to be attorney general, and he couldn't accept right away because he wasn't admitted to the bar?
Scrub it. He lives in Oakland.
You know what? California's motto has been fake it till you make it.
Too, which makes him really a special candidate.
Civil rights attorney John Burris, who has spent years pushing for police reform, also backed the appointment, calling Beer rooted in the community and someone who shows up.
He's not afraid of the community, and he listens to people in the community, and that's very, very important.
The head of the Police Officers Union here in Oakland tells us that consistent leadership is essential in moving the police department forward. Back to you.
I mean, not a lot of people want to work for a department when they're not sure if that department is going to have the same boss 6 months from now. So maybe this will help out with hiring. Maybe this will be a good thing. So far, he's been in charge for the last 6 months. Then Floyd Mitchell just abruptly quit. And for the most part, people are like, yeah, he's doing an okay job.
So that's what's going on in Oakland. Let's move across the bay to San Francisco, where they are now reevaluating their policies regarding illegal fireworks.
Because San Francisco has realized maybe Sacramento knows what they're doing when it comes to finding the hell out of the fireworkers and using drones to catch them in the act. For more, here is ABC7 in the Bay.
As we get further and further away from July 4th, city leaders are still dealing with the fallout from the 4th. All right, illegal fireworks, they've become a challenging issue for the city of San Francisco. Today, a resolution was presented that could change that. ABC7 Eyewitness News reporter Luz Pena live with the details. Luz?
Yes, Larry, these fines range anywhere between $125 to $700 after multiple infractions.
Oh, that's not even close to what Sacramento's doing. It's like $1,000 for the first one, $2,000 for the second one, $3,000 for the third one, and then $3,000 for everyone on top of that. They fined one person $100,000.
Those fines are cheaper than the copay for what they're going to have to pay to have their fingers reattached.
A strategy that is already showing positive results in Sacramento. Fireworks are illegal in San Francisco.
So's fentanyl. You don't see them stopping that.
Nope.
So why couldn't police confirm any arrests when they were clearly set off on multiple city streets on July 4th?
Our existing ordinance prohibits the conduct, but it does not provide a local infraction or misdemeanor penalty that police officers can use.
Wait. So we actually don't have the legal authority to fine people in San Francisco for breaking the law?
What if they aim the fireworks at their neighbor's house?
Francisco Supervisor Alan Wong is hoping to
No relation.
change that. During a Public Safety and Neighborhood Services Committee, he introduced an ordinance establishing penalties for illegal fireworks.
They could get a penalty between $125 to $250, and the second infraction within 5 years, they could have a penalty of $250 to $750, and it can be counted as a misdemeanor.
I would go higher than that.
That's not going to get anyone's attention. They're spending more money in fireworks.
Do what they're doing in Anaheim. Do what they're doing in Sacramento. $1,000 minimum the first time. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Francisco's fire department reported an increasingly challenging July 4th, with almost 200 more calls than normal. And
they couldn't get to most of those calls because the roads were all gridlocked because of Daniel Lurie's foggy fireworks show.
nearly 600 calls in a 24-hour period.
With a busy period in the nighttime between 9 p.m. and midnight with 146 different incidents.
The city of Sacramento recently stepped up a crackdown on illegal fireworks. Fines there can range from $1,000 to $10,000. This past 4th, the Sacramento Fire Department issued about $300,000 in citations. Drones captured activity at one home.
And they disprove your theory, Johnny. People weren't shooting the drones down.
That actually surprises me. Maybe they were trying to, and they're just bad shots.
This is Sacramento County. If they did this in L.A. County, it might be a different story.
That is now facing $100,000 in fines.
Just kept going for hours on end with multiple aerial fireworks.
It's a move that some community members see as necessary in San Francisco.
Headphones and earplugs are not a solution for people with PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, children on the spectrum.
But not
everyone. God. It sounds like she has every problem under the sun under her roof.
Well, it's just a good reminder that while you might think that if you're just launching fireworks, maybe it will annoy people, there are people that it is detrimental to their well-being, especially people who have PTSD from wars, people who are on the spectrum, and little dogs.
Okay, on July the 4th, who do you think it was in her house that held her at knife point? Her husband or her autistic child?
Believes this ordinance is the answer.
I have serious concerns about this ordinance as it really only attacks the issue from an enforcement perspective.
Oh, come on.
Who named their kid Justice?
Which I think has proven in many cases to be truly ineffective, aside from the racial disparities that will almost certainly come from an enforcement model like this one.
Oh, boy.
It's racist.
Yep.
This ordinance will now move to the full Board of Supervisors for a vote and supervise.
I got some news for you, Justice. I live in the San Fernando Valley. It's a melting pot of every race you can imagine, and they all launch fireworks into the sky.
Sir Wong is hoping it will be approved and will go into effect in San Francisco in the coming months. In San Francisco, Luz Peña, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
So there you go. That's what's going on with the working on trying to start cracking down on illegal fireworks in the city by the bay.
It's the John Phillips Show. I want to read for you a portion of a 5-star review for CarPro.com from listener Scott, who loved his experience with CarPro.com and Tustin Mazda. Scott writes, I followed the CarPro process and then called the dealership to get the process started on Thursday and spoke with Jim, who told me that he would check the pricing on the CX-5 that I wanted. On Friday, he called with the pricing I wanted. I made airline reservations. Josh, Jim's associate, followed up with me in the morning and asked if we'd like a ride from the airport to the dealership. He picked me up at the curb, took me to the dealer, and 2 hours later, my wife and I were on our way to the beach in our new car with Chick-fil-A provided by the dealer. If you want this kind of VIP treatment and amazing pricing, go to carpro.com, enter your zip code and what you're looking for. Or you can call or text message Tom Haynes, the Big Cheese, directly on a cell phone at 818-435-6797. Go to carpro.com. It's the John Phillips Show. Let's go to Travis in Oakland. Travis, hello.
Hey, John and Randy. You know, I really appreciate how you guys are trying to stop crime and shed light on that. But don't you think stopping fireworks on the 4th of July is a little unpatriotic? I mean, I live in Oakland, and on the 4th of July, it sounds like Beirut. And it's the one day a year I think to myself, wow, my neighbors are really patriotic. I mean, we didn't get to become a great nation because we were worried about kids on the spectrum being startled or old, confused people. We became a great nation because we're not afraid to blow stuff up. And it's good that one day a year we get to do that. And, you know, maybe the Oakland Fire Department has to work a little harder, but Oakland Fire, unlike the Oakland Police, the Oakland firefighters, now we need them. I'm not saying don't come to my house if something happens, but they get paid more than doctors and brain surgeons. So the least they can do is let people have their fun and have their water ready to go. Maybe they could stop the blowing up the cars on the 4th of July. That's a little much. But if you got some sparklers and some fountains, you got drones busting little kids, I don't know if that's our biggest problem in Oakland.
What about in Orange County, the guy that lost his house and his prosthetic leg from illegal fireworks this weekend?
Well, was he shooting them off?
No. They burned down his house and his leg.
Okay, so the people involved in that need to be prosecuted. Absolutely. They went overboard.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're out of time.
You know what? He's not half the man he used to be.
We'll have that story in the Crime Blotter coming up later.
It's the John Phillips Show.
I am so excited about the fact that in the city of Santa Fe, 2 years in a row now, they have been named the #1 city to visit by Travel and Leisure. Last year, they dethroned Charleston, and this year they did it again. And it's because there is so much to see and do in Santa Fe. The weather is great all times of year. In the summer, it is not going to get hotter than 90, and it is a dry heat. I walk 8-10 miles a day, even in mid-August. It's beautiful out there. You have so much history. You have so much culture, great museums. Festivals. I mean, you've got the International Folk Art Market going on this weekend, and the food, the enchiladas, the green chili cheeseburgers, the steakhouses. There's so much great things to do. Did I mention the Margarita Trail? It's never been easier to get to the city of Santa Fe. There is a daily direct flight from LAX to the Santa Fe airport on American. I just booked a bunch of them for the rest of the year. And get the free visitor's guide at santafe.org.
It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you can also watch us do the show live and participate and subscribe to the Accountability Podcast.
We are live on YouTube at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. The chat room is thriving on there. We got a whole lot of comments. So many we can barely read them while we're doing the show, but we really appreciate how lively the chat room is getting. We got 155 likes on that stream today so far. Thank you very much. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit subscribe. We're also on X at Johnny Don't Like, Facebook at KABC Radio, Facebook at 810 KSFO, and Twitch at Randy Wang Radio. But the chat room is so much fun on the YouTube, so check it out. And our challenge today, our stretch goal, is if we can get enough subscribers to the Accountability Podcast, which I'm putting the link in the chat right now at youtube.com/@Accountability Podcast. We just got to 429 subscribers. If we can get to 500 by 2:30, I have put together a video slideshow representing the story told in the call from Mike in Valencia regarding one Katie Porter.
Hey, hello, everybody.
I worked for over an hour on it last night, so we need to get some love out of this. Hit the like button on today's show, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Accountability Podcast, which is our 16th hour. We put up a brand new episode a couple of days ago, and we'll have a brand new episode next week where we're going to detail the town hall where Karen Bass and Barbara Ferrer got booed and cursed out. We need to do it on the podcast because there were a lot of F-bombs on that town hall.
In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
I was going to totally forget. 790 KABC welcomes Chris Young with special guest Shailene at the Pacific Amphitheater at the OC Fair on July 18th. Tickets are on sale now at packamp.com. But right now, call it number 9 at 1-888-795-2222. Gets a pair of tickets to the show. All concert tickets include admission to the OC Fair. Tickets furnished by the Pacific Amphitheater. Good luck dialing. And it's a Friday, so I can tear up that price sheet.
Let's go to Don in El Cerrito. Don, hello.
Yeah, how you doing? The reason I'm calling is the fact that this new chief that's coming in, and he's been around since '94, and he's proven being a veteran and a Purple Heart. Why wasn't he given the chance earlier? Is it Barbara Lee is, if I understand, is running to be the mayor? If I'm wrong, I'm not sure. But then once she gets in, then she'll find a way to get rid of him and put someone her liking. If it's not, what they call the color of your skin.
Well, I think as someone who is going to be running for re-election, what Barbara Lee wants is she wants the people of Oakland to think that crime is going in the right direction. Because if that's how the public feels, she will likely win another 4-year term. If they think that the city is still chaotic, then she might lose her re-election bid. I think from her point of view, she's looking at it from with the objective of self-preservation.
Well, she needs the votes. Isn't that what it's all about?
That's right. You need more votes than your opponent. Thank you for the call, sir. All right, let's go to Paul in San Francisco. Paul, hello.
Yes, I'm going to suggest that the SFPD carry DNA kits, so anytime they have to cite somebody for fireworks, they only would cite white people, that the minority people wouldn't have to be cited. I think that'd solve a lot of problems.
Sounds like equity to me.
So now let me get this straight.
Equity, yes.
So if you are an SFPD officer and you come across a house where they're shooting off fireworks, you would cite Michael Jackson, but not Jermaine.
You got to watch out for the pit bull, too.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. All right, it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
It's happened yet again.
I know.
I see. Time for the California Crime Blotter.
And the first edition of today's blotter takes us to my hometown of Garden Grove.
A man in Garden Grove got his house destroyed and lost his prosthetic leg because of illegal fireworks. And no, he wasn't the one shooting them off.
That is just awful.
We've heard of so many people losing limbs. This is a completely innocent person who already lost a limb that lost it again.
You know what? The argument that we should just let people shoot off fireworks whenever they want, that argument doesn't have a leg to stand on.
For more on this, we go to CBS LA.
9, a Garden Grove man claims illegal fireworks cost him his home and his prosthetic leg. Tonight, he's talking about the devastating toll he suffered after 4th of July celebrations went wrong. CBS LA's Brittany Ehrman is live in Garden Grove with his plea for help. Brittany.
Yeah, Rudabeh, the man is living out of a motel trying to figure out what's next after he lost everything. He tells me the home that he lived in for decades he watched burn. A hotel room is now the only place Anthony Scotti can call home. Nearly everything he owned is now a pile of ashes.
Harmless fun, isn't it?
Well, hopefully he's got the funds to stay at that Days Inn for a long time, because I'd hate to see them give him the boot.
I saw smoke, and then at my peripheral vision, I saw flames flared up.
On July 5th, years of memories were reduced to a blackened shell in a matter of minutes. Scotti says a stray firework shot through his window screen, landed inside his closet, and started a fire in his home.
Holy cow!
Doesn't this seem like a war zone?
Yes.
Inside were family photos, mementos, and a collection of vintage video games he had spent years restoring.
My mind started to spiral to, what do you grab? Do you go for photos? I totally spaced on my father's military flag that was at his burial.
But the fire didn't
Okay, I don't want to second guess what this guy chose to do, but if that were me, I would have gone for the leg.
just destroy his home. It reignited one of the most difficult chapters of his life.
I was a little confused looking around what to grab. I even skipped the prosthetic.
When the
He forgot to grab his leg. The guy was panicked.
Uh-oh.
fire broke out, Scotti wasn't wearing his prosthetic leg. He escaped with his life, but left his prosthetic behind where it was damaged by intense heat. Now he's back in a wheelchair.
The illegal fireworks have melted so many things. A basketball court in Oakland.
Oh my God, they melted the basketball court.
And this guy's leg in Garden Grove.
Awful.
Hoping it can be repaired. Scotti says he couldn't afford renter's insurance, so he's facing climbing costs. His niece created a GoFundMe to help him start over and rebuild his life.
Tough too, those little tidbits that you grew up with.
How about we find the little bastards that shot off this and we bill their parents for the new leg?
Yeah, you can't say you were celebrating the holiday if you shot the firework directly into this guy's house through a window.
I grew up in that neighborhood.
The fire took his home, but not his hope. Scotti says resilience is what keeps him moving forward.
I chose to forge forward on and take the high road.
Guy's a saint.
And a bit of good news tonight. Firefighters were able to save a few things, including the American flag that was presented to the family after their father was laid to rest with military honors. Live in Garden Grove tonight, Brittany Ehrman,
You can hear it in the background, but Garden Grove getting sirened.
Oh, yeah.
CBS LA.
So there you go. Harmless fun, those illegal fireworks, except when a guy loses his home and his leg all in one night.
All right, Randy, it's time to reopen the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
I know.
We couldn't make this stuff up if we tried.
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
It's the California Crime Blotter.
And this one involves, well, let's just call him a prolific burglar.
Someone committed 30-plus burglaries on a scooter. For more on this, we go to KTVU Fox 2.
In these cases, the suspect was targeting local businesses such as coffee shops and restaurants, and in most cases was utilizing an electric scooter as his mode of transportation.
Stacy Shee says this man, Jonathan Bynum, was...
Isn't he a little old to be scooting?
I wonder how many DUIs he has.
riding around San Jose on his scooter, stealing cash from local businesses, breaking into stores and safes. One location, the
What do we always say about safes, Johnny?
They're not safe.
1400 block of Bird Avenue, another the 120 block of Bernal Road. The incidents not only happened in San Jose, but neighboring cities, from early 2025 to the most recent incident in June of this year.
And although these aren't considered violent crimes, they are destroying and threatening our small businesses, the livelihood of these mom and pop shops.
I mean, you're going to have every small business owner look real shifty-eyed if anyone's on a Lime scooter.
Especially that guy.
He says in April, police found numerous pieces of evidence linking Bynum to the burglaries at his home, but he was nowhere to be found. Then the Santa Clara Police Department Special Enforcement Team located the suspect and arrested him on June 29th in San Jose. Authorities also had a lot of surveillance video from the shops.
What kind of complete and total loser do you have to be that age robbing small businesses on a scooter?
I mean, he was successful 30 times before he got caught.
Various evidence collected, it was helpful to see that the one connection of the mode of transportation was the use of an electric scooter.
And he has been charged with numerous counts of burglary and vandalism. And we're told these incidents happened outside of business hours. I'm in San Jose.
You're kidding. He didn't try to steal the safes while the store was open?
Yeah, they might be able to outrun him on the scooter.
Jose tonight, Aaron Dickens, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, thank you, Aaron. And a free bump.
So there you go. That was the guy committing 30-plus burglaries while on a scooter.
Idiot. It's the John Phillips Show. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
You know, I'm not the only one that can have a little fun creating some artwork on the internet. Listener David writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com with a little graphic called The Birth of Barbara Ferrer. And not to be outdone, and I'm sorry in advance for this, Johnny, Dar writes in with a AI picture of Johnny at the barbershop. We're having some fun on this Friday.
All right. How are we doing on our challenge to boost the number of subscribers for the Accountability Podcast?
So I know a lot of people want to hear that story from the listener in Valencia that had the friend that went home with Katie Porter.
Get out of my shop.
I created a video to go along with it. It is very special. It took me over an hour to do last night. This is what I do with my free time now. And if you want us to play that video, premiere it on this show at 2:30, all we need you to do, if you haven't done so already, and if you have done so, then get your friends and your family to do it as well. Subscribe to the Accountability Podcast on YouTube. I just put the link in the chat. We are at 450 subscribers. We need to get to 500 by 2:30, and we will premiere the Katie Porter going home with the guy from Orange County story.
So we only need 50 more.
Only 50 more. You can do this. We believe in you. If you haven't yet, subscribe. YouTube.com/@accountability podcast, which is a great show. If you haven't heard this week's yet, listen to it 3 o'clock after we're off the air, because it is a brand new episode of what we're already doing here with other stories that would sometimes be uncensored. Next week, we're going to do the full town hall from Boyle Heights with all the F-bobs pointed at Karen Bass on the Accountability Podcast. And if you cannot find it, if you're having trouble figuring out how to get there, just email us, johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com, and we will point you in the right direction.
And if you've already subscribed, grab your spouse's phone, grab your kid's phone, and make sure that they're subscribed too.
457, we're getting close. I just got a text message from John Sangmeister who said, please send me the link. I think he wants to see the Katie Porter video. All right. I will send that to you during the break, Mr. Sangmeister.
All right. It's now time to reopen the California Crime Blotter.
It's happened yet again. It's Wild Wild West out here.
Dun, 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 dun. It's the California Crime Blotter with John
and Randy.
And this edition takes us to Northern California.
This is a new one. Guy decides to take a selfie while he's on a crime spree. And that's exactly how he got caught.
Dummy.
For more on this, we go to NBC in the Bay.
The act by his own pictures. Thieves stole $100,000 worth of tools, copper wire, and vehicles from a business. And get this, investigators say one of the burglars took a selfie of himself committing the crime. Let's bring in our Jody Hernandez, who spent her day looking into this. So, Jody, the suspect actually took pictures of himself in the act of committing the crime.
Apparently so. Now, that burglary took place right here in this PG&E yard in American Canyon, where PG&E contractors parked.
Well, if you're stealing from PG&E, I have no sympathy for the victim in this crime. It's like Robin Hood.
Their cars and keep their other equipment. That burglary took place over the weekend, and it appears a selfie photo captured the moment. Take a look at this. It shows one of the suspects posing for a selfie.
Where was he going to post that?
You know, a friend of mine had his cell phone stolen at a casino, and the guy that stole the cell phone accidentally took a bunch of pictures of himself with the phone and then tried to hold the phone for a ransom.
Oh, my.
In front of a truck and a reel of copper wiring. That's what the photo shows. Police say he and his accomplice stole those items from the lot. Now, we have now learned there's also video of the two committing the crime. The company that owns the truck is PG&E contractor Pinnacle Power. An employee tells me all of their trucks are equipped with cameras. He says the two burglars drove the truck to a San Leandro warehouse where they unloaded the copper wire, then ditched the truck on the street. Now, we're told...
I'm going to guess they ditched it in Oakland. But hey, they caught these guys, so there's something.
Much of it was caught on camera. Police were able to identify two vehicles associated with the crime, and that led to the arrest of both of the men over the last couple of days.
So, Jody, obviously they found the photos after they tracked him down, and you just said they tracked him down with the cameras in the truck. Once they had the suspect in hand, what other evidence did they find?
That's right. Okay, so they used those cameras to identify a couple of vehicles, and that tied the vehicles to the crime. So that was definitely key in all of this. Apparently, there is a mound of evidence against these two. Of course, they've got that selfie photo, and that places the suspect right in front of the stolen goods. Police...
Boy, going to trial is going to be real fun for this one. How do you know he was there? He posted it on his phone.
Everyone thinks that criminals are like Ocean's 11, where they're just sophisticated professional operators, when in reality, most of them are pretty remedial.
Also shared a photo of stacks of money. The Pinnacle employee says he thinks that's the cash the bad guys got when they sold the copper wiring.
Hey, can we go after the smelter and the recycler now, too?
Oh,
And
don't
the
be silly.
Pinnacle employee says police also recovered tools that may have been those the burglars also stole from 8 other Pinnacle trucks that were parked in the lot. Again, the employee tells me cameras in the truck captured the men in action, but the nail in the coffin is likely that selfie that the suspect shot of himself. The mayor of...
What a great picture.
All right, we've got one more hour to go. Randy, what number are we at?
We need you to hit at 500 subscribers on the Accountability Podcast, and we are currently at 498. We're 2 away, everybody. The Katie Porter video is going to happen. I can't wait. Thank you so much for subscribing, everybody.
One more hour coming up.
Speaking up in all caps. For those that don the red caps. It's the John Phillips Show.
And we continue at 2:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, we are broadcasting live on the radio on 790 KABC in Southern California and 810 KSFO in the Bay Area, but we're also broadcasting live on YouTube, youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. We're also broadcasting live on X at Johnny Don't Like. We're broadcasting on Facebook at KABC Radio and Facebook at 810 KSFO and on Twitch at Randy Wang Radio. And we have been putting out a challenge all afternoon. And thanks to you, the incredible audience, we hit our stretch goal. We were asking to get over 500 subscribers to our new podcast, the Accountability Podcast, by 2:30. It is 2:05. We are at 512. So at 2:35, we will have a John Phillips Show world premiere, the world premiere of a visual representation of the Katie Porter story.
It's going to be like the cartoon on Bewitched before the actual show starts.
That's coming up in just a few minutes, and you did it. Thank you so much for subscribing, and if you haven't already, hit that like button on today's show.
800-222-5222 is telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. In the old days, we used to vote on propositions here in California in the primary and general election. Then it was changed to put all the propositions on the general election ballot, not the primary ballot, because the ruling class in Sacramento figured it would be easier to pass things like tax increases with larger turnout. Well, one of those tax increases that's going to be on the November ballot is being pushed by the SEIU. It's the wealth confiscation tax. This is the billionaire's tax. This is a tax that would go to one aspect, one portion of the SEIU, and everyone else gets cut out of the deal. Just from the debate, just from chatter that this could potentially happen, has already caused $1 trillion in wealth to move out of the state of California, with more on the way if it looks like this thing is going to pass. Joining us to talk about this is the economist and research fellow at the Hoover Institution up at Stanford University. You can get them online at hoover.org. Benjamin Jaros, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me on, John.
Well, thanks for coming on. So this initiative has already pushed, as I mentioned, $1 trillion in wealth out of the state and could potentially, I think likely, lead to more wealth, more productivity, more companies moving out of the state of California. Is it as bad as I have described?
Well, it's not great, John. There's between the filing date by the proponents and the snapshot date of who would be due for the tax, that was when an initial $500-ish billion left the state. So that would be, headlined by Sergey Brin, Larry Page, Peter Thiel, among others. And then shortly after that, Mark Zuckerberg left in February, adding another nearly $200 billion to the total there. And there are plenty of other stealth departures that get you close to your number there. And so those tech innovators are the backbone of the state's economy and who they employ. And I don't need to remind you, John, or maybe many of your listeners, but that the state of California already taxes the top quite a bit. And in the last, since 2000, the state has lost about $500 billion and about $5 billion in tax revenue. So it's $500 billion in taxable income and $5 billion in tax revenue to other states. That's already happening on the income tax level. And, net migration has been driven by the upper brackets, especially post, 2020, but it's been throughout the income spectrum. So, John, this is, there's clearly something missing in the contract here between what the taxes are going to fund public finance and then who's actually paying them. And we can highlight any different part of the California budget probably together. But that's really what this is, a continuation of that trend, is taxing the few to pay for, another item on Sacramento's goodie list.
I think a lot of people look at the state of California and they see the population in the South and they say, okay, that's where the tax dollars come from because that's where the people are. But the reality of the situation is that that's really not true. The population may be in the South, but it's Silicon Valley that pays our bills.
Yeah, that's certainly right. And then you even had in the Democratic primary debate where, Katie, I believe it was Katie Porter, said a quiet part out loud for the last several years. The people who are moving here are not net contributors to the state in terms of tax revenue. And that's not a great place to be in for any state, much less the state of California. It's quite a revealing statement even from the Democratic primary there.
What does California look like without Silicon Valley? If Silicon Valley were to just pick up and move to Austin, Texas, or move to Tallahassee, or move to Las Vegas, what does California look like without that industry?
From a revenue perspective, the state is cooked, highly reliant on that tax base. And it showed through, right, especially in the last 5 years. Between 2020 and 2022, we had really high, income tax receipts, mainly in capital gains, because tech had such a run up. And then we had the immediate, year after 2023, 2024, not as, great for the state potentially. And we're asked to suddenly look at cut programs. So in the long run, if the state's no longer employing individuals paying high income tax, earning high salaries and then subsequently paying high income taxes, the whole state budget would have to be restructured, and potentially already should be, but it could get worse. And that's part of what this measure is about.
One of the arguments that the proponents of this bill that they use, and it's not just even really for this particular tax, it's for high taxes in California in general, is it's a good weather tax. People love to live here, and it's hot in Arizona, and it's muggy in Texas, and there's hurricanes in Florida. If you want to live where the good weather is, you just have to deal with the taxes that we decide that you're going to pay. However, the reality is you can spend time here. You can own a home here. You can have fun here, but you don't necessarily have to establish residency here. You can go get residency somewhere else and have a vacation home here and spend 49% of your time here without having to pay California taxes.
Yeah, and that's generally correct, John, with the exception of that. So it's 183 days. But if they're earning income while in California, so potentially a lot of tech workers, if they come and work remotely, they would still be paying on that fraction of the days they're in. But in general, you're right. Certainly with the residency for the wealth tax, if the billionaires establish residency in another state prior to the cutoff, California's not going to touch their assets.
When it comes to defeating this thing, it seems like there is a golden opportunity here in a deep blue state to put together, let's call it an unconventional coalition on the no side, where you certainly have Silicon Valley, you have billionaires, you have people who have done well, you have people who are below them who are theoretically going to get hit next the next time they decide they want to go for a cash grab. But you also have all of the unions, the public employee unions who were cut out of this deal, which is essentially all of them except for this particular branch of the SEIU. So that includes the Teachers Association, which is one of the most powerful unions in the state of California. It involves public safety, the prison guards, the firefighters, the police officers. There is an opportunity here to put together a coalition that is broad and diverse and well-funded, that really has an opportunity to get the message out, to make the argument that this would be catastrophic?
Exactly, John. I am still quite, I'm not sure exactly my full feelings on the matter, but the fact that our work was and has been cited by the California teachers unions and Planned Parenthood affiliates of California is already quite a broad coalition. I'm perhaps at a loss for words. John, can you remember the last ballot initiative that united Newsom, Planned Parenthood, California teachers unions against a tax measure? I can't think of one. If you can, please share.
And I'll tell you, if it works, if this is successful, there might be pearls of wisdom for future tax fights that the no side can learn from and maybe duplicate the results if, in fact, we are successful as a no side in this, which I think we're learning right now from what happened with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association with their initiative, where they scared Sacramento to death to the point to where Sacramento gave them things that you would never assume Sacramento would be willing to give an organization like the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. But they held strong and they didn't blink, and there was a victory for taxpayers there, and maybe we'll get a second one.
Yeah, I mean, I think in some ways the other thing to always talk about, ballot measures fail and succeed based on what the money's going to, and maybe your listeners know this, maybe they don't. But the revenue is going earmarked to go to funding losses in quotes from One Big Beautiful Bill. But what are those losses? The first, 2/3 of the reduction is from work requirements for able-bodied individuals. They don't have dependents. They don't have medical conditions. All those exemptions, there's 15 plus exemptions for those. So 2/3 of the money is functionally going to pay for individuals who don't meet a work requirement. And there was an era in this country where work requirements for some type of welfare was just understood. And it's 20 hours of work a week, or literally 80 hours a month, but functionally 20 hours a week. And that's where 2/3 of the money is going to. And so there should and can be an honest debate around a ballot proposition, rather than the Trump administration is imposing draconian cuts. It's a reasonable discussion when the federal government itself is running a structural deficit, along with the state of California, what we should be funding and what we should expect able-bodied individuals to do in order to get health coverage.
How much of a problem do you think the greed is going to be for the SEIU here? The fact that instead of involving these other unions, they specifically cut them out of the deal. And I ask that question because you go back to the two competing initiatives that we've had on the ballot here in California for legalizing sports betting. And instead of putting together a clean initiative that would just legalize it and allow whomever to get involved in the action, they had two initiatives that wrote in monopolies for whoever it was that was funding it, and they wrote everyone else out of the deal. And because of that, everyone else opposed each of the initiatives, and they ended up going down in flames.
Well, I certainly think that's certainly in part what the California Teachers Association is thinking, that they only got 10% of the take here, when state laws in the Constitution is that it's supposed to be 40 cents of every dollar. So I imagine that's part of their motivation, and it's great question to ask. It highlights that exact issue, is that by not just doing the clean, we need this for all. I mean, the state of California is running a structural deficit. Not that the state needs the money. Since 2019, California tax revenues are up 55%, but unfortunately for the state, California spending is up 68%. So, golden goose kept laying eggs, but I guess not enough of them. And in that context, the fact that they wanted to restrict more of the funds has actually created some some opposition for them.
Gavin Newsom is now making the argument that we should vote against this particular initiative, but that we need a national version of this to come from the Congress in Washington. Obviously, that is a play for him in the Democratic primary for president, so that he doesn't look like a business-friendly Democrat or a billionaire-friendly Democrat or a Silicon Valley-friendly Democrat. He doesn't want to be on the wrong side of the DSA. I just don't know how you can intellectually make that argument if you're going to actually campaign up and down the state against this initiative. Like, who's going to take you seriously if you're saying no at the state level, but yes at the federal level?
Yeah, not just who's going to take you seriously. An interesting point for you and your listeners to know is that it might be easier for him to make that statement is because currently in the Congress, in both the House and I believe the Senate, the bill has been introduced and sponsored by Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna. It's called the Make the Billionaires Pay Their Fair Share Act. It is a federal wealth tax. And perhaps it is easy for Gavin Newsom to get behind a federal wealth tax because currently, as that law is written, as it is written currently, it is almost patently unconstitutional and in conflict with Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. It's called the Capitation Clause that requires that all direct taxation must be proportional among the states, right? And the income tax is an exception to that, but a wealth tax is not realized income, so it's not going to fall under the income tax amendment. And so potentially for Gavin, it's easy for him to say, oh, well, don't support this tax that could plausibly happen and impact the state or potentially impact his donor base. And I'm going to simultaneously support a tax that on its face is unconstitutional. But, we'll see what happens in the next decade, primaries, Supreme Court nominees. But, right now I would not weigh it being upheld as constitutional with this court.
Benjamin Jaros, economist and research fellow at the Hoover Institution up at Stanford University. You can get him online at hoover.org. Benjamin, thanks so much for stopping by.
John, thanks so much for having me. Have a great day.
It's the John Phillips Show. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you can watch us perform the show live and participate in the chat.
We are broadcasting live on the radio every day, but now we also broadcast live on video every day. We're at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio, and we just hit 2,002 subscribers on that channel. So congratulations, everybody. Thank you so much for your subs. If you're watching on YouTube, participate in the chat. We're having a lot of fun in there, but also hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot for YouTube to push us out to other places so more people can find out about the show. We're also on X at Johnny Don't Like, Facebook at KABC Radio, Facebook at 810 KSFO, and Twitch at Randy Wang Radio. And Johnny, we've been putting out the challenge all day, and the listeners delivered once again. We asked if we could get our accountability podcast up to over 500 subscribers. It is now at 523. If you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe to our weekly podcast, where we cover all the kinds of things that we didn't get a chance to cover on this show, go to youtube.com/@accountability podcast. We'll have a brand new show every Wednesday. And this upcoming Wednesday, the brand new show is going to be us covering the town hall where Karen Bass got cursed out. We couldn't play it on this show because, well, there's a lot of F-bombs in it.
And Randy, since we did hit that number, you have a surprise for the audience.
On the other side of the break, when we come back after the news, we will have, thanks to you, the audience that did what we needed them to do, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You put us over the limit for what we needed today. You're getting a world premiere of a little video I put together last night. It is a visual representation of the Katie Porter story, thanks to an AI slideshow.
Oh, my. All right. Katie Porter in all her glory up next. Right here on The John Phillips Show. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. All right, Randy, you're an honest man. You made a challenge. You made a promise. The audience delivered. And now it's your turn.
It's time for us to thank you. By the way, I love this comment from YouTube listener Gons. I love watching the show, but I don't get much accomplished in the afternoon like I did when I was just listening to iHeart over the internet. That's on us. So we asked you to do us a favor and subscribe to our brand new accountability podcast. We have brand new episodes every single week. It's pretty much exactly like this, except the logo at the top says the accountability podcast, and Johnny can say curse words if he wants to. And we asked if we could get that over 500 subscribers. And we started at 300, 275, I think. And you guys delivered. And you delivered quite well. We are currently now on the accountability podcast, up to 532 subscribers. And by the way, on the channel that you're watching this right now, youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio, we're at 2,020 subscribers. That channel had barely over 1,000 2 weeks ago. So thank you all so much for that. It means a lot for us as we try to spread the word. So now it's time for our end of the bargain.
Buckle up.
So a listener yesterday said, hey, instead of reading Katie Porter's Yelp reviews, why don't you just play the tape of the caller who called us back in March of 2024 with that story of the buddy of his that hooked up with Katie Porter. And I thought, yeah, I can do that, but that's just an audio tape. We are now a visual medium. I feel like we can do one better. So I spent way too much time during the show in the commercial breaks yesterday trying to just upload that file to Google Gemini and be like, can you make slides from this? It wouldn't do it. But when I said, hey, get me a couple of pictures from this, it spat out a couple of pictures. And then I gave it a few other prompts that had to do with the story. And, well, here we go. I hope you enjoy it. I spent way too much time on this yesterday. Without further ado, here is a video representation of the Katie Porter story.
Let's begin with Mike in Valencia. Mike, you're on KABC. Hello.
A good friend of mine, we were at a party down south, okay? And he's a chubby chaser, shall we say. And he had 1-3 mini to drink. And we noticed he started talking to this young lady. And it was Katie Porter. And he wound up, let's just say they left together. And he was really, and we were trying to explain to him, you know who that is, but once he gets drinking, he ain't listening. And he left with her, and the next morning we saw him. He asked us to come get him. And we had to explain to him who it was. And
oh, no.
They didn't do it in the minivan, did they?
No. But let's just say that we asked him, but he doesn't remember anything until he woke up, and that's when he called us to come get him. And we told him we were warning you who that was because we swing to the right, you know. We're conservatives. But we asked him how to go, and he goes, I don't remember nothing. He goes, I just remember waking up, and he goes, God, she stunk.
You can smell it right here.
That's for you, audience. That was all for you. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. That's what we can do for you, is bring you a visual representation of the famous Katie Porter's story. I will make that video live on my YouTube channel at 3 o'clock so you can watch it all you want. You can share it. Hell, you can even smell it right here.
You can smell it right here.
You can smell it right now.
You think that guy is listening right now?
Oh, Mike in Valencia? I sure hope so. He ended up becoming one of our most famous callers. That and the crazy lady from Alta Loma. Maybe I'll do a visualization of that one, including him asking that you couldn't do, her asking what you couldn't do with Madonna.
You think that guy has PTSD?
It sure sounded like it. The call continued to say that to this day, when he goes to a bar, he looks to make sure that she's not in there.
And don't they give him all kinds of hell every time one of her ads comes on the television?
Especially when she was running for governor.
Had to remind him of that night every time he turned the television on.
I will set that right now. That video is set at private because I wanted to make sure nobody saw it before the big premiere. But I will make sure that that video is available on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio at 3 o'clock. Oh, we got a request here. Can we get a...
You can smell it right here.
With a...
That's right. I like that. That was amazing.
You know, that could be a new series on the Cartoon Network. Have you ever thought of that?
Slideshows of weird calls from this radio show?
Yeah. I'd watch that.
It took quite a lot. Wow. The amount of live viewers we've had has exploded in the last hour or so, and I'm guessing it's because everyone wanted to see the world premiere.
Just imagine, you turn it on Cartoon Network, and you see an old episode of Looney Tunes, then you get Darkwing Duck, and then you get Katie.
You know what? Just so I make sure that I hold myself accountable here, let me go ahead and right now change this video from private to public as of July 10th at 3 p.m. Another reason you want to subscribe to the John Phillips Show by going to @RandyWangRadio on YouTube. It's going live at 3 o'clock, and you can watch it as many times as you want.
You know what I call that video, Randy?
What's that?
Artistic. There are people that go to museums and they sip on wine and they eat brie and they wear berets and they walk around and they just stare at paintings and they stare at paintings and they stare at paintings. But I've never been into that. No, the kind of art I like is the art that you just played on this radio program.
You know what? We got a minute till break. Let's play it one more time. In case you missed it, in case you're just tuning in, it's only a minute. Let's watch it again. I'm pretty proud of this. Also, look how fit AI me is.
Let's begin with Mike in Valencia. Mike, you're on KABC. Hello.
A good friend of mine, we were at a party down south, okay? And he's a chubby chaser, shall we say.
That's my favorite picture, by the way. Trying to type into Google Gemini, give me an accurate description of a chubby chaser.
Okay. And he had 1 3 to drink. And we noticed he started talking to this young lady. And it was Katie Porter. And he wound up, let's just say they left together. And he was really, and we were trying to explain to him, you know who that is, but once he gets drinking, he ain't listening. And he left with her, and the next morning we saw him. He asked us to come get him. And we had to explain to him who it was. And he went,
no.
They didn't do it in the minivan, did they?
No, but let's just say that we asked him, but he doesn't remember anything until he woke up, and that's when he called us to come get him. And we told him we were warning you who that was because we swing to the right, you know? We're conservatives. But we asked him how to go, and he goes, I don't remember nothing. He goes, I just remember waking up, and he goes, God, she stunk.
You can smell it right here.
The wonders of the future that is AI. Monica writes in saying, I need to meet a nice chubby chaser.
Well, there's one in the audience.
Buddy writes in, my favorite part is the dirty minivan. I specifically put in the prompt, a dirty minivan speeding away from a party. DB writes in on YouTube,
Paul!
We're having a good Friday.
Who needs soccer when you have this?
Is that game over yet?
Go on forever. I've never understood that, too. In basketball, you have 4 quarters, all the same length. In soccer, sometimes it's 90 minutes, sometimes it's 95, sometimes it's 98. Who knows?
Soccer, the game is over. Spain beat Belgium. So if you prefer chorizo to Belgian fries, you win.
All right. It's the John Phillips Show. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com.
A lot of people driving asking, can you send me those websites? I want to see that video later on. It goes live at 3 o'clock.
All you have to do is subscribe to the YouTube page, and it's right there. And you can share it with your friends. Tell them to subscribe to. Tell them to like it. It's all about an algorithm and trying to get better placement on YouTube so the message can go out to a broader audience.
There's also on there a edited video of us doing Katie Porter's Yelp reviews from yesterday. So if you did not get to see that segment, check it out at youtube.com/@RandyWangRadio. By the way, I am scrolling through my email to try to find the crazy lady caller from years ago. And if I can find it, maybe I'll have a new project for the weekend. But I don't know if I know where that is. It's from a long time ago.
Apparently, they used to replay it all the time.
Well, yeah. Okay. So apparently what would happen is they kept running the same best of over and over and over again. This is before I started doing them. And people would say, we heard her again. We heard her again at 5 o'clock.
She became famous.
Yes. And then she started calling in under different names, but always from Alta Loma.
All right. Have lawyered up.
Gavin Newsom, the current but not for long governor of California, announced at a press conference talking about education spending that he and his wife have hired a private attorney in the investigation against him and his wife and all of the nonprofits that they are associated with. For more on this, let's go to a report from KCRA3 and our friend Ashley
Governor
Zavala.
Gavin Newsom held a news conference today in the Sacramento region, and it was his first since announcing he's under investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice. KCRA3's Ashley Zavala has what the governor is saying about the investigation.
Here at an elementary school in Davis, Governor Gavin Newsom held a press conference to highlight how the state budget will uplift public schools this year. But the
usual, well, we're spending more money than ever. Who cares about results?
And by the way, we have declining enrollment.
Governor faced a barrage of questions about the U.S. Department of Justice investigation into him and his wife, Jennifer Siebel Newsom. Neither have been subpoenaed yet, and they have not been contacted by investigators for interviews.
If kids, I got to warn you, if Gavin asks to play basketball with you, don't do it.
Oh, yeah. He knocked those little Chinese kids over like bowling pins.
As of this moment, the governor announced almost a month ago that he's under investigation and that authorities have been contacting friends and associates. The governor today signaled he and his wife have hired an attorney. Here's what else he had to say when asked for an update.
Not much more than has already been provided. I mean, this is...
He's looking a little pinkish.
I wonder what attorney he's going to hire. Who's that one that got Casey Anthony off?
I wonder if he's going to hire the guys that Bob Bonta paid $500,000 to assist with the Sheng Tao investigation.
Bob Bonta.
I know. I'd get that Cuban that got Casey Anthony off. What was his name? Wani Cochran?
Purely political. You've seen some of the...
Wait, didn't this investigation start during the Biden days?
It did. And it started from a California whistleblower, too.
Although that could be purely political, too. Let's not forget that his frenemy was the vice president at the time.
I'm not sure. Maybe you guys have reported it as well. People have stated pretty clearly that they were directed to find something.
Have more people been contacted in your circle?
To find something.
You mean like the crooked dealings of your chief of staff, Dana Drinky Williamson?
Oh, yeah. She'd get lit at night and call everyone up and threaten them on your behalf. Remember that one, Gavin?
Just directed. Find something. It says everything you need to know about the United States of America under Donald Trump. And so we continue to, maintain vigilance as it relates to the just weaponization by the Department of Justice and other power ministries under the Trump administration. And a lot has been reported, and I don't have much more to add except it's pretty disgraceful.
The U.S. Department of Justice isn't commenting.
He is going to try to turn himself into the victim here. Have you noticed that?
Oh, that's what this is all about. He was the one that announced that this was even happening. The feds didn't say anything. He holds the press conference because he hadn't gotten any attention in a while. Look at me. He will not be able to handle the fact that people are going to stop paying attention to him the second he stops being governor, regardless if he runs for president. The attention that he gets on a daily basis is going to go real quick. It's like going to be all over again, like when he stopped being mayor of San Francisco and went to be lieutenant governor and no one gave two craps about him.
On any investigation. Meanwhile, the governor from here is kicking off a summer tour to campaign for Democrats ahead of the midterm elections. His first...
Of course, because he's got nothing to do with his day job, including he says at the press conference that, I've got like 200 appointments I need to fill before the end of my term. I'm going to go take the summer off to campaign in Nevada.
Over the next 3 days is Nevada. Reporting in Davis, Ashley Zavala, KCRA 3 News.
So there you go. Gavin Newsom lawyering up when it comes to the investigation into him and his wife. You wonder if this has anything to do with the diaper contract, because that's very possible as well.
I love the fact that all the attention's on his old lady.
She brought that attention on herself. Remember, she got national coverage when she took the mic out of Gavin's hand to chastise the room of female reporters who were asking the governor about questions about the governor's office when they were doing a press conference about abortion.
Yeah, she's a strange one. And you notice he always has the weird gesticulations with his hands. She does the same thing.
Maybe he got it from her. Sometimes we tend to emulate our significant others.
You see her standing there at the podium and you think she's bored at the press conference and practicing karate or something.
Gravity writes in, he should call Free Legal Bay Area legal. He's already paid them.
Well, better call Saul.
I was about to post this comment from Klaus, but it is, I don't know if I feel comfortable posting curse words on the screen when we can't say them on the radio. Maybe we'll save that for the Accountability Podcast.
Are any of OJ's attorneys still alive?
Carl Douglas, I think, is.
Maybe that's who he should get.
Most of them are gone. I think Carl Douglas is still alive.
What about F. Lee Bailey?
I think didn't he go this year? All right, now I
think his liver went about 3 or 4 years before him.
F. Lee Bailey was. Yeah, he died in 2021.
Okay. Well,
might have been a COVID thing.
That's not an option. All right. Have a good weekend, everyone. We'll see you on Monday for another edition of The John Phillips Show.
And listen to the Accountability Podcast. If you haven't this weekend, we talk about San Francisco trying to ban whippets. YouTube.com/@accountability podcast.